Hey everyone, it's Linda Fabry. I'm here to do the group intuitive painting for the month of December. So I'm really excited. And then we're also going to give it away. So just a quick overview of what we do with the group session. I'm going to create a painting like this one. It's created intuitively. I have no idea what it's going to look like. We're going to find out together. And then that will become a new card in the Sacred Journey deck. And these cards this is what they look like. So there's a 33 card starter deck. They come in this cool blue bag. They're all hand stamped. So the painting we create today will become a new card. And then the painting will be given away to a member of my Patreon community. This is the one that we're going to be giving away today. That's what we created last month for November. And I'm going to do a drawing for that. And if you would like to enter the drawing for this one is closed. It ends the last day of the month, and then I do the drawing the first day of the month when we do the new painting. For the one that we're going to create today, if you'd like to enter, I tried to put a link. I couldn't type anything. I don't know what happened, but I'll add a link later and you can go to Patreon and check that out. So I'm going to draw a name for this one right now before we get started because I can't wait anymore and I'm super excited. So I've got all the names. I like little miniature things, so I made like these little miniature scrolls of everybody's name. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to try to project a little bit. I'm kind of a quiet talker usually. Okay, so let's see who wins this one that became the card Go Within. That was the main message of this card from last month. So a lot of introspection last month. So who's getting Go Within? Got one. It is Anne. I had a feeling. And this one's for you. All right, so I will send that out to you right away. Yay, congratulations. So I'm going to turn the camera around and then we're going to get started on this painting. So give me just a second. Hey, everybody. Okay. So if you haven't seen an intuitive painting before, basically the way it works is I put a bunch of paint down on the paper and the images just kind of evolve as we go. But the way it starts out is to have you choose some colors. So anybody who's watching, if you want to kind of take these in, think about what you want, what your intention is. And some of the intentions that I had that I've already kind of called on are a message from the spirit of 2020. So looking at what does our future want to say to us is kind of how I'm feeling about that. Inner light, true self and spirit. Also, kind of like making decisions, also finding our path to how do we best serve, how do we use our gifts in the world and move into alignment with our divine self and share that. So, all right. So what do we got? Hi, Karen. Hi, Ann. And Ann, we got two Anns. Okay, so Karen says 29. All right. Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. And 22. Do I not have a 20? Oh, that was weird. I reordered them, so I got confused. All right, number 9. Thank you, Odessa. Hi. And Ann says 4. Okay. I think I want to pick one too. I'm not sure which one. I'm kind of leaning toward a couple. We'll go a couple more. I think we can get a few more colors in there as people join. I'm kind of, Yeah, I repainted them so that you can see. I'll tilt it so that, because the colors show up depending on the angles and everything. So I actually painted the bottom so that you can see what the actual color is, because I don't trust the bottle. I think I'm going to go with 6. That's going to be my color. All right. And so, okay, so I've got 6, 29, 25, 22, 4. Gotcha. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. And feel free to share out the video. It's not like a private thing. It's out on my page. So, and if anybody's watching from Courageous Creators or Inspiration and Insights, come onto the page, because if you're, for some reason, like that's the only way I'm going to see your comments. So I'll wait for a second. I'm going to try some background music this time and see what happens. Let me know if you can hear that in the background. Thanks, Gabriella. 24. You know, that's funny because that was the one I was torn between 6 and 24. All right, so I'll wait for a couple more. We can pick. So if you're just joining and you want to pick a color, hey, Courtney. All right, 12. I deliberately reordered the numbers so that it wasn't what I was used to, and now I'm confused, but it's good. It's creating new wiring. All right, 21. Hey, Toby. And 12. Yeah, so you got that 12 in there. It is popping, isn't it? It seems it's brighter than all the colors. Love it. Let me know if the music's too loud or distracting. Okay, I'm gonna wait for one more second, and then I think we'll run with those. All right, so if anybody was thinking about a color and didn't say it, I'll grab it if it comes in the next second or two. All right. I'll throw that 10 in there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you to just kind of join me in getting heart-centered. So whatever works for you. I like to just kind of put my hands on my chest over my heart area and take a few deep breaths. And then I imagine that a heart, like a circle, is going out from my heart space and coming out from yours, and they overlap. And that's how, you know, your energy communicates with mine, so that I can channel what you need as well as for myself and everyone else. And I'm also going to invite all of our guides and our spirits and our higher self for those of us who are here right now, and then also anybody who's watching later. All right. So I'm feeling really drawn to this 22. I'm going to start here. It just kind of has this arc. I feel a lot of, what do I want to say, like expression or kind of manifesting. And I feel like last month was a great month for kind of this introspection and kind of going deep and doing some of that shadow work too. And yeah, I feel like, you know, like some preparation was done for some stuff to come about. Hey, Jewel. I'm glad you found me. Do you have a number that pops into your head that you want to add in while I'm still doing this? I'm feeling some kind of spiraling, swirling, lots of growth. Anybody in the midst of a growth process right now? Everybody? Seven. I don't think we have 7 yet. Here we go. It's like filling in the spaces. It's almost like little stained glass windows or something. That's a beautiful blue. Were you expecting that, Jewel? That's 7. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I'm easily overstimulated. Okay. Again, I'm feeling kind of this upward motion. Up and out. Feels pretty balanced though overall. And I'm just hearing something about boundaries, like pushing past boundaries, kind of along the lines of moving outside your comfort zone, but I think it's a little different. We'll see. I'm going to remove a few layers here. I love the contrast. And I'm feeling like my sinuses are almost clearing. So it's like releasing. Removing a lot of stuff, so if you've been doing the shadow work, getting down into the core of things, it's there, the light's starting to, look at that bright spot right in the middle. It's pretty cool. some really interesting textures too, and I'll give you a close-up in a second. And it really, last month, and I'll show you real quick what, there was kind of this pattern. There's just a little tiny spot of it in last month's painting. And it's reminding me of what's on the edges here. It's almost like we zoomed in on that. Let's see. And there weren't any like major blockages or anything. So it feels like things are flowing pretty well at the moment, like collectively. All right, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Give you a closer look. Some of this texture is really cool. You can see some of this texture on the side, and I'm feeling like animals, and almost looks like two eyes looking through. It's kind of got this like cave feeling to it, and it's actually quite similar to last month's, but just like a different, I don't know, like a different color palette slightly. Let me pull that one up. Where did I put it? Oh, and I lost your painting. Oh, yeah, so look at, so this is where we were last month, right? And this is what I was talking about, this kind of funky pattern that we really didn't talk too much about it, but it felt interesting to me. It really drew me in. And now we've got that coming up in a much bigger way. It's a little ominous, but I like it. All right. I'm going to look and see what y'all are saying before I start painting. Hey, Lyndon, glad you made it. It is kind of eerie, right? We'll see what it... Ring, yeah. It does have that feeling, Courtney, like another dimension. Yeah, okay. Just sit with it for a second. Let me make sure it's focused properly. There. All right. This right here is just, it's kind of blowing my mind. It's like some sort of, I don't know, like some sort of crazy spider beast back there or something. Those eyes are glowing. I don't know if it's showing up like that for you, but yeah. Oh, I can see the elephant ear, Odessa. Yeah. So the two red eyes with the elephant ear. Mm-hmm. It does. It's like a trunk too. I was wondering. I was like trying to decide what that was about. I need to sit with it for a minute. I'm wondering where you're seeing the cheetah and owl center, because I was seeing an animal over here, like that kind of felt like an owl too. And then with all this texture around here, there's this very flat spot, which is just fascinating. I almost want to start there. And it's got this kind of portal like oval. And I've been feeling that, like the Vesica Pisces. That's what, when I was, when I kind of do that centering and I have the circles overlapping in my mind, it creates that. And it feels like maybe that is, you know, what's showing up there. I'm not even sure where to start. So I'm just going to grab my trusty paint palette. And we'll just see where it takes us. I feel very drawn to this right here. Yeah, like there's almost like, I almost feel like it's a wall with animals carved into it on that side. This just wants to be kind of a more complete oval. And so I was just hearing coin. It's almost like this is a gold coin. I like that red. Like back in here, Karen, someone falling through right here. I see. I was thinking that looked like tree branches too, but I could totally see like a little body, like totally arms outstretched. It's funny working with the yellow. I feel like hesitant with it or something. And yellow's kind of a funny color. It can sometimes related to, you know, like our solar plexus and our personal will, and it can make us a little uncomfortable if it's representing our personal power or something like that. And so one of the intentions was about owning our gifts, connecting with our you know, how can we best serve and use our gifts. And I feel like this coin represents, in a way, our talents. Maybe it's a talent, you know, like the biblical term. like that. Like someone in there. I kind of want to emphasize that. I like that, Lynn Vince, like a step into through the portal. Stepping stone coin. Ooh, I like that. Maybe I should add a few more so it's like steps. What do you think? Let me know what you think about that. I'm going to outline this body back in here just to kind of emphasize. So I just feel like there's like ooh. Yeah, I kind of want to add another. I think I'm going to add another coin. Let's see what happens. I can always cover it up, right? Mm. So if you saw a bunch of coins going into there, would you follow them? Would you pick them up? There's a lot of energy coming through. It's making my hands shake a little bit. Good stuff. When my hands start shaking when I'm painting, there's like it means that it doesn't mean it. What I experience is a loss of control. I can't control what I'm doing as well as I could when my hands are steady, right? When there's a lot of energy coming through, my hands start to shake. So I've learned that it's kind of a signal to me to relinquish control, to get, long story short, it's a signal that tells me about letting go and relinquishing control. And so when my hands are shaking like that, the more I try to counter it, the more difficult it becomes, which I think is what we experience too in life. So it's kind of this, let your lines be shaky, relinquish control to the divine, that kind of thing. That's what's kind of coming through in that experience. That's how I interpret that anyway. So I don't know if you've ever experienced like it feeling shaky when you get a download or you know, have that kind of energy moving through you. It's, whew, that's what it feels like. It's like I could just drink 6 cups of coffee. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm really liking these coins. The light at the end of the tunnel. That I kept hearing that, Karen. Yeah, now I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Ooh. Yeah, they're like breadcrumbs. I like that. Follow your talents, follow your mm-hmm. New dimension, yep. Jill says, I think I'd be a little uncomfortable. That's what I was thinking too, because you kind of got this. But it's interesting. So if I focus this way, I forget that that's there. I was wondering that too, if they're running toward us. I almost was feeling like I was going to paint wings on them or something. But it just kind of stayed that way. So I'm feeling drawn out to here, and this purple, there's something about that purple, and it's just really, let's see what happens with it. Feels like trees, purple branches. I'm trying to put into words what I'm receiving. Something about like stability coming from the divine, or like spirit, like our divine connection or spirituality, like the branches, like the structure of things being purple, being connected to spirit. And I'm really drawn over here to, I'm wondering if it's going to be another owl. We have an owl. Last month we had an owl, and I'll show you if you missed it. The owl's kind of pissed off. Looked kind of, well, it not as, it looked kind of ornery when we first started, but I'm kind of feeling like there's an owl here that's a little bit more just kind of sitting and relaxed now.
Oh, so Jill says it could be that yellow figure is flowing out the coins to us. It's like coming out. We won't have to go in at all. It's coming from there. I like that. Courtney says, walk past your fears and manifest in the light. I love it. Yes. That's what it's feel. It feels like that's fear. And then I'll get into the whole full analysis later, but I am noticing this kind of waterfall feeling, which can sometimes represent kind of a fall from grace or a fall, like kind of things falling. So I want to come over here to this owl, and I'm not really sure which color to go with. Okay. There's something about the two sides. Like this side is very green, and this side is still dark. There's kind of a polarity. And I almost wanted to bring green over here, but then it was like, no, just outline. Oh, the owl is resting. So last month, the owl delivered a message. It was kind of like a messenger. So I kind of feel like this owl is just kind of there. Like last month's owl was kind of a guide and kind of showing us the way, whereas this one is just like, all right, here, now your turn. That's kind of what it feels like, but still there, just, you know, like our wisdom's still there to kind of guard, and the owl kind of being a protector guardian of the underworld in a sense, and that kind of has that feeling in here too. I don't know if you can see all this detail. I'm trying to lift it up so you can see it, but it's almost like the feathers are just there already. Let me get the focusy thingy. Hold on. There, can you see that? Like, look at all the texture in there that was just there from, you know, the background. Looks like feathers to me. Oh, let's see what y'all are saying. I like the primary colors going on in here too. Karen says there's definitely wisdom in that tunnel. We are given the tools we need to reach it, aka the coins. Yeah. Lights in the darkness, an observer. Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, and Courtney, observer, watcher. That's funny, Carrie, because I was thinking, oh, it's kind of like sometimes you have like, yeah, it is. It's kind of like this way. I can't quite grab the words that I'm thinking of. I don't want to say like guardians by the door or gate or whatever, like gatekeeper type thing, but it almost feels like I like that idea. This one just looks like it's jumping for joy, that kind of thing. I do feel more like animal presence on the outside, but nothing's really jumping out at me as yet. We'll see. Just emphasizing a few things. And I'm hearing with these branches kind of like branching out, like a lot of us. So when we talk about the next, like the coming year, because we're coming to the close of a year, it feels like a lot of people will be moving in new directions, if not already. And that one of the intentions was a message from the spirit of 2020. I feel like it feels like literal movement. I feel like we're going to have like mass migrations. I hope it's for joyful reasons, but I also feel like people are going to be shifting gears, switching careers. And I think it's really important to, in times of transition, to be able to identify our inner guidance, our currency, so to speak. I almost felt that, Courtney, it's interesting. You say the owl's making sure we keep on going and reminding us not to be afraid. I was actually hearing the phrase, be not afraid, and some like hymn I used to sing when I was a kid in church or something. But that's what it felt like. It was like there's something protective and guiding. Yeah. I don't know if this is light shining through here. What's down here? I don't think there's much down there. I'm seeing some little hearts, lots of little hearts in there too. This reminds me of like waves. Did someone say like someone said like torment, but it's like tumultuous and like lava and waves and things like that. But just staying to this side, it's almost like it gives us stepping stones through. I'm just kind of feeling into it to see what else it needs. The red is good. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm just gonna interpret it as like unassuming power. As I'm painting on this owl, I'm like seeing like Baby Yoda. And I don't know if that's just because like my lens, because it's like freaking everywhere or what, but I really do feel like it's like sweet. And there's something very, I think that's like, it's telling me about us. Like this owl is just kind of sitting there and it's just kind of chill, but there's some really deep wisdom that it represents, if that makes sense. But there's something about it that just, I was trying to understand what the feeling was, and Baby Yoda popped in my head. So I was like, oh, it's kind of that kind of thing where it's like, oh, cute, cuddly, damn, thinking, you know. And I think that's kind of what it's. I think there's a whole lot. Oh, I just got like major chills. So I don't know if it has to do with like I'm hearing the word disclosure, and I don't know what, and I feel like it relates to more than just like one thing. I feel like we're gonna really, most of you watching this already know, like are so aware much more than most people. I don't want to assume anything, but I'm thinking that. But I feel like there's an information in this owl sitting right on this kind of like the divine branch, this purple, spiritual connection kind of thing. And I just keep feeling like this doesn't even matter. Like that's just an illusion. But it's an interesting illusion, and I think that's why it remains. I think that's why a lot of our illusions remains because they're very interesting. They release dopamine, and they, do all kinds of things that draw our attention to it. And then it's a nice excuse, like, oh, I couldn't go and stand in my light because there was this monster there that I did, that I was afraid of or something, which is, that's valid and, okay. But I think that it's kind of smoke and mirrors. That's what that's feeling like. There is a way. I'm not seeing anything else that's really, it feels like quite a leap from here to here, but I feel like I want to keep that 3. Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of sit back for a second and we'll take a look at it. It might be done, I'm not sure. Let me see what y'all are saying, and also I don't think it's fully focused. Okay. Let me see. I see a child by the light running, and a dark parent figure on the left side of the circular part of the opening. Oh, interesting. That little person in the cave could be a gatekeeper. I'm really interested in their role. In some ways, I feel like they're coming running out of the light. Some ways, it feels like they're kind of standing there, or they're running into it, or they're jumping for joy. It's really, yeah. I kind of like the idea that they're flinging coins out. I'm feeling elephant too with it, Courtney. Yeah. Once I saw so that's an interesting thing too, and I'm going to look at that. What the ear of the elephant, and I feel like, isn't there an herb called elephant ear or something like that? If maybe somebody can look that up, that would be interesting, because I feel like this ear of the elephant, if we can look at what an elephant ear represents, that can tell us a lot about our fears and what's holding us back. Because elephants, I usually see them as strong and persistent and pushing through, and patient. I feel patience around it. But it's almost like it's the dark side of that, or something like that. So if we focus instead just on the ear, and again, I feel this is, I mean, we could think of ears as like listening. So what I was feeling before was trusting, not trying to control things so much. Yeah, I'm just gonna and the owl's got red around its face too. But it's not, doesn't feel as ominous. I feel like I want to emphasize those tree branches. What color? This one. So this is like kind of bluish. Start talking about it. That's what I just heard. I'm like, okay, so, and specifically start talking about your spirituality, your spiritual perspective. Share your spiritual perspective. That's what I'm hearing with this. It's like a combination of divine connection and spiritual connection and self-expression. And that kind of creates these roots to hold on and give structure. Again, I keep feeling like this kind of structure. That's the fear, I think, that it can be intimidating to share your thoughts and from a spiritual perspective. But I think that's really needed right now. For many reasons, but I think really when other people see or hear us being comfortable talking about our experiences, then they feel more comfortable sharing them. And then it just, I think one of the things we need to do is normalize this intuition for one thing, receiving guidance, those kinds of things, because it's something that people need to be okay with doing if they're going to navigate their way through a changing world. They need to be okay with it and not hide it. Yeah, and that's related to personal power. It's like as soon as I did that, then it was like, okay, now you can light this up. That's how we connect the wisdom into it. Does that resonate with anyone? Do you find yourself keeping quiet about spiritual thoughts? And I don't mean religion stuff. I mean like experiences that you've had with intuition, or I mean religion stuff too, but like even new thought and that kind of stuff, weird stuff, and you just kind of keep quiet so that it doesn't make other people uncomfortable. I think we need to make other people uncomfortable for, and they can take it or leave it, but I think not make people uncomfortable as if we need to change their minds or anything, but I think just maybe I put it this way, making ourselves uncomfortable so that it gives other people permission to make them to be uncomfortable too. And then eventually none of us will be. Linvin says, an elephant like a parent guarding the path to the real world from the dream world they're in. Oh, interesting. I like that feeling of like a guardian. It does feel right to me. Hi, Triana. It does. It kind of, Karen, you're right. The music kind of is, it feels like it's progressing, like progressive, taking a path. Stand strong like the elephant, the child within. I do feel an inner child connection, definitely, Linvin. Yay, I'm glad you made it, Triana. Yeah, I mean, elephants in general, I love when elephants show up. So I'm seeing that y'all can relate to what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, for a long time, I would feel like that too. Not so much anymore, obviously. I talk about all kinds of weird stuff now, quite publicly, but I think that the more we do, the more it just becomes a conversation that more and more people are willing to have. Ooh, that light. That lit up. Yeah. And look at how that's become so bright. And when I look here, I don't know if it's the same for y'all, but when I look over here, I almost don't even see, this kind of blends into the background. If I focus right here, it's really hard for me to see that. But so who's my researcher? I need someone to look up elephant ear. I feel like it's an herb or something, or a plant. I know it's a plant. I think that's like a name for a plant. I would do it, but I'll turn off my music and I can't dig it. Okay, I'm needing green right now, real quick. This green. Oh, okay. So, well, I don't want to speak too soon. So it's wanting some like green spirals up in here. And I think we had spirals last month too in the trees, but now, the spirals before were in the trunk, and now they're the new growth. And I feel like it's kind of this reaching out to this other side too. There was, I can't remember who it was that said it, but there's this wonderful quote about an artist's role is to kind of like, so I can botch this quote, but something like they go past the horizon and discover the treasure to bring back, to share with others. And that's what this feels like to me, like, going into those other dimensions, doing the kind of personal work and experiencing thing. And then maybe that's us in that realm, tossing the treasure back to share with others. And I feel like it's almost creating growth and making it more verdant. Is that a word? That's what I'm hearing. That's Sorry, I'm having like an inner conversation. One of my guides, I don't know how to put it into words. They like to play Scrabble. Is that how I want to say? I don't. They're into words and stuff like that. And then, freaking verdant. I'm pretty sure that means green. So it makes it very green out here. Yeah, there we go. I'm loving these spirals. It's very, lots of growth. It's like, what did I do just before these? I think the light kind of got brighter, and now all of a sudden all this growth, and cool. I like it. There's like a face down here I want to show you. Let's see. All right, let me focus in. I want to give you a tour. I think it's almost done. Let's see if I can get it. All right, I think that's good. All right, so there's, can you see that? There's our almost like they're leaping. I'm reading your comments while I'm holding this, that's why I'm shaking. Fried dough. Okay, yeah, it is a big plant too, but yeah, it is fried dough. Hey, I live in Wisconsin. What do you want? I'm all about the fried dough. That's funny. Oh, the plant consumes unsafe toxins. Interesting. Green with growing things. Yep. So you can see some of the detail in there, and our owl. I love the textures on the edges that kind of create, oh yeah, I was going to show you. Right here, I'm seeing like a mask, or it almost looks like, I'm not finding the words for it. These are coins. Try to see the bottom here. See how that kind of looks like churning water, or I keep hearing the word tumultuous, but like coming out of that tumultuous activity and kind of providing stepping stones. I feel like that's the gift that I feel personally like this being is sharing their gifts to create stepping stones to bring others to the light and past the illusion of, you know, it's interesting too, because so I have an oracle card that had an elephant on it, and it's in the message that I received when I created it was like, stand your ground, because if we run away from ourselves, that's when we get trampled. So it's like, it kind of feels like that too. If we like run towards yourself, not away from yourself, and you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So I think it's pretty much done. I'm going to go through the kind of top, bottom, left, right thing that I like to do, and then I want to address some of the, which I kind of already did, but I just want to directly speak to some of the questions and questions and intentions. There is that feeling of fallen angel. That's interesting. So Karen says, inner core of the earth at the bottom where the fallen angels were sent. There's this kind of feeling of redemption or something. I don't know. It's got a great feeling. So I feel like it's about December. I feel like it's about the coming year and more time, you know, more than that. It definitely has kind of like a potential. It has a lot of potential. Like it feels like it represents potential. Where did I write this down? Okay. So we talked about the message from the Spirit of 2020. So that's what I feel like. I feel like the message from the Spirit of 2020 is saying that, like run towards yourself. That if I had to put it into like a single phrase, that's what I'm hearing is run toward yourself. Run toward your divine self. Run toward it, you know. And then you don't have to worry. Like your hand. I was just listening to Abraham recording, and they were talking about Jerry fly fishing and how he'd run across the water, and then there would be a rock there wherever he needed to step, and that's what that reminds me. Just kind of you can run. It's like that's how you walk on water. Is you trust that the steps are going to be there. Your talents, your gifts are going to provide that. Yeah, ooh. So Trana says left side descending and right side ascending. And I feel like there is this movement there. That's, yeah, good observation. So another one of the intentions or questions was connecting with inner light, true self, and spirit. And I think that it really visually speaks to that. I think, again, like run towards yourself. As I keep feeling. So I don't know if that's going to be the card title or what, but it feels like it. The owl is really kind of interesting to me. And I liked Karen's idea of like having almost like it's holding a sign saying this way. But it also just feels like because its eyes are closed, it's trusting. Like I feel like it trusts me to know my own way. Like it doesn't need to guide me anymore. Like last month, I feel like we had a lot of intervention. It's like, here's your message, here's your thing, come this way, and now it's like, okay, we've given you what you need. You got this. That's what it feels like. And then, well, this is perfect. So I think this really answers someone's question. They said they wanted to really understand the path, and then also making decisions. So I think, this is two different questions that people had, was about making decisions, and then also making a decision between two paths, or one path and then the potential for other paths in relationship to moving into alignment with the divine and pouring out my gifts to the world, is their exact words. And I definitely feel like there's a pouring out of gifts. I feel like it's run to yourself, connect with your divine self, and then kind of you share your gifts, and your gifts become, no matter what they are, whether it's, you're a gifted waitress and you connect with people, or you're a healer or a teacher or artist, whatever. Those are gifts that provide stepping stones for other people to find their path too and run toward themselves. And especially what I was feeling before about expressing your spirituality, express your personal experience of the divine. I think we need that very much, sharing how we've been some traditions would call it like witnessing. That always makes me uncomfortable, but I understand the concept, and I feel like that's kind of what we're, needed to do. Like, just talk about the good shit that happens to you. Let's put it that way. Like, that's what we need to do is this cool thing, this synchronicity, or, here's where I've grown this year, or whatever. Like, just share those things instead of, let's stop sharing the fears that we have and sharing the, someone bumped into my car in the parking lot at Walmart kind of stories. And let's talk about like how exciting it is when we connect with our divine self, making decisions. And I think that whole, like I was saying before, that felt like there was polarity. Like when I first put it down, it felt like there was a polarity, and it's walking that middle path between the two extremes. And I think that's part of what we really need to do also. Walk away. Oh, I like that. So I'm just looking at run toward the light. Yes. Lead the way. I think standing up and being a leader. So making decisions. And I always say, like, I always love, I don't know who said it. It's probably been said by a million people. So I can't like quote them, but it's, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Like if it's not a yes, it's a no. That's So if it's not clear as this coin and that's the next step, then just kind of wait till you see that step is clear enough. And take it one at a time too. With decisions, it's always decision making is difficult when we it's as difficult it's difficult when we think it's going to be difficult. And I am definitely someone who struggles with decision making when I'm not in alignment with who I am, because I'm super analytical. And I think, just like this painting, there's a ton of stuff going on here, so we have choices on where we focus. And like I was saying earlier, if I focus right here, everything kind of goes away. Or I can focus my eyes and this looks like an elephant ear. I can focus over here, or I can focus on the, so we have choices there. So make that your decision on where to focus when you're trying to make a decision on other things. I wanted to do this whole, so we're talking about the polarity and how one's going up, one's going down. It is, so here's the center line, and it's basically this choice between light and dark. Are we gonna stay stuck here with fear or go in that direction? And this being on the right side, usually I see this kind of stuff on this left side, where it typically represents our spiritual connection, our intuition, nonlinear activity. This is more linear, practical. So I think what this owl was saying too, it feels like we're ready to take the steps where we just did all this work to kind of figure out what we want and get a clear vision. I know that for me personally, that's kind of what I'm experiencing now, is this more practical application of all these things I've learned over the years, stuff that I've been, that I know, but haven't really put into practice. And I feel like that's where, it's happening now. Top and bottom. So this line can represent, our line of awareness. So what's above the line is usually what we are already aware of. It's active in our vibration. This bottom would be subconscious, or what we're not aware of. It also can represent potential, kind of almost a timeline. So when I see 3, I think of ascended masters. I think of our connection to our spiritual family. I feel like there's guidance involved with that also. And it makes, but I also see 3 different things that are going to come into, I feel like there's 3 specific things that'll come up, that we'll become aware of. This one, then this one, that are specific gifts or talents that we weren't aware of, or we haven't fully accepted and embraced. For me, an example would be, it took me a really long time to even call myself an artist, even though I sold art and I did all these things, but I was really uncomfortable I had to be some other, thing along with it. So it'd be something like that. If you're a healer, but you've never been comfortable calling yourself a healer, or if you, are a teacher by nature, and to call yourself a teacher, those kinds of things, or an author or whatever. It feels like that's what's coming. Each of these represent, and there'll be 3 of them coming through. Little owlet down here too. Someone said owlet, and I just looked over there, and I think that's where the Baby Yoda feeling was coming from. But anyway, so above here in the awareness, we're well aware of our fears and our joys, and there's just this little tiny line between them. They're the same thing. It's just a shift. Over here on this intuitive side is the owl, and coming into our awareness, it's this little, it could be the inner child. And a lot of people were talking about parent and child and inner child, and it feels it almost is feeding into our wisdom, our inner child feeding into our wisdom. And I feel like what I was saying before was, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Not unrecognized, easily dismissed. That's not the word either, but that's what I'm trying to say, is the power is easily dismissed because it's so small. That's what, this little owlet or a little Baby Yoda is this little tiny cute thing with immense power. And that's what that your inner child brings to the wisdom and your ability to to move between realms, really, I think, move between dimensions. Some of this down here feels like, I feel like there is an upheaval. We're always kind of in that state. I feel like there's a little bit of that coming up in the, you know, distant collective potential. Let's put it that way. But I think that's why it's important to get in touch with your own inner guidance to lead you that way. And then when you get there, toss back the gifts to share with others. Yeah. So overall, run to yourself. That's what I feel. Just run past all those fears. It's just smoke and mirrors. Yeah. So that's that. Using wisdom to reach the light, Gabriella says. I like that. Yes. Wolf face. So Triana was saying wolf face down there too. And that's, yeah, I was feeling fox. I always like fox. I do want to take a minute to compare because I feel like they're very related. And then next month I'll do a whole recap of all the ones we've done this year before the end of the year. That'll be fun. But here was like the fox up in here and the owl. And here's what this month. So it's very similar. Kind of getting in it though. Oh, and it's interesting because this one had like a lot of fire. This is almost like after the fire is gone. So this is like the smoke. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, so this one's Anne's now. And so if you want to be entered to win this one, make sure that you're signed up on Patreon by the end of the month. So the next drawing will be January 1st, if you can believe that. January 1st. What did I just say? Awesome. So I'll post a picture and then I'll update you when the card is ready. So we'll see what the words say. Thank you everybody so much for joining me and for your input. I'll post it and then feel free to leave your comments below and let me know, what it says to you. And I'll take those into consideration for the new Oracle card. Have a great night. Bye-bye.